when Boiler Room came out, I was like, oh my God, that was my life.
I am a fucking millionaire.
The Ben Affleck speech, I sat through that speech. You just said it was going from 2 to 10, no? Your clients.
Talk about shady.
Yeah. It was criminal. It was criminal. I could smell it. The winning trader takes the small loss, milks the good trade, and compensates for 3 small losses with 1 good trade.
What's up, Modern Traders fam? Today, we have a very special guest joining us for an exclusive interview. Kenny Glick, the Vwap master from hitthebid.com. Kenny and I go way back, and I've been fortunate enough to learn so much from his expert teachings on Vwap. His strategy is not only unique, but it's also simple to use, making it an invaluable tool for traders of all levels. So, stay tuned as we dive deep into his trading journey, discuss the ins and outs of his Vwap strategy, and explore tips for traders looking to excel in the market. Don't miss this incredible opportunity to learn from the master himself. And I'll see you there. Thank you very much for coming today.
Hey.
I appreciate it. I'm sure that Modern Traders family is going to learn a lot from you today.
What's up, buddy?
All right, Kenny, so let's learn a little bit about you. Let's learn about what you do, your strategies, and everything that you have to tell us about trading.
Wow, how long we got?
A limited time.
Oh, okay.
The family can listen all day.
All right, I'll be as brief as humanly possible.
Okay.
Then. Want to get this? I was a former stand-up comic. I went to school for television and radio production, like we're doing here. Worked with cameras, and again, just getting up on stage, having fun. That's where I thought I was going to go. And I was at a comedy club one day, and some dude in a suit came up to me. I'm thinking, this is my break. This is going to be great. And
Right.
he was a stockbroker. He's like, you're a funny guy. Why don't you come out to Long Island and sell some stock with us? I'm like, is this a joke? I thought it was just busting my balls, right? So next thing you know, we had a conversation. He's like, no, we got a firm out in Long Island. It's people with sense of humor actually are pretty good salesmen. So why don't you come out and check it out? So there I was. I got my little bar mitzvah suit on that hadn't really fit me in 15 years. Went out there, kind of like intimidated by the whole thing. I walked in, everyone's screaming and yelling just like a regular firm. These guys are screaming at IPOs, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to sit. The guy's like, yeah, come here. Here. Sit here, read this script, and if anybody has any interest in what you're saying, just yell for me, just like the movie.
Right.
So,
it's interesting how it all started.
Oh,
man. Wow.
When Boiler Room came out, I was like, oh my God, that was my life. The Ben Affleck speech, I sat through that speech. So just to go fast forward, firm after firm after firm, shadier than the next. I did get my Series 7. I took the 64. I got even an options principal because I was just in the mood to take some more tests just so I could learn more about options. So I had all my licenses, and it was just, a bunch of garbage IPOs that nobody would ever make money on unless you were in with the company owners. And then the real shady part was when if you wanted to sell something out of your account, you had to find someone to actually buy it from you. So if Mo wanted to sell, I had to call Joe. Yeah, Joe, I got this great stock for you.
Yeah.
I would just sell it out of your account into somebody else's account. It never actually hit the market. You would just cross books. And I knew...
So there was no order book, nothing digital. It was literally phone calls.
Yeah, and you never actually went to the open market. It was all crossing books and just manipulating, and there was only one market maker. Yeah. So I didn't know much about the market, but I learned the intricacies of how this game worked, and I didn't like it. I was like, all right, this is shady. Okay, first of all, they would come in and talk about how, this is the greatest stock ever. It's going to go from 2 to 50, but don't buy it from your friends or your family. You just told me it's going up 500% in a week, but don't buy it for your friends and your family. I don't, but I want to buy it. Don't you buy it either. I'm like, but you just said it was going from 2 to 10, no? Your clients. I was like, oh, okay.
Talk about shady.
Yeah. So, and that was it, So then, once I started, getting just absolutely just annoyed at this whole thing, and it was criminal. It was criminal. I could smell it. After the 3rd or 4 firms in, it was really cool that we had a firm right on Wall Street. It was exciting. So I saw the writing on the wall. I was like, look, I got to get out of this place before it collapses. So I started calling my clients, and I was telling them, I didn't want to just say, hey, look, I think we've been committing crimes with your money. But I was like, listen, I don't know if I'm too sure of what's going on here. Why don't you sell all your stocks and, get out of here? And I brought in a couple of trades to the main office. They're like, you can't close out a client out of all of his stocks. I'm like, why? This is the stock market. Yeah. The guy wants out. and they're yelling at me, and I got to get on the phone and get rid of his stocks. I'm like, no, that's not how the market works. Sell this guy out of his name, out of these stocks. So they were like, okay, it's $5.50 on the offer, dollar bid. We'll give him $1 for it. I'm like, how's that possible?
Yeah.
$5.50 off, $1 bid. They were the only market maker, so you had no choice. So if you wanted to get out, they'd be glad to take it from you on the
so
bid.
the spread was that big.
Yeah, absolutely just criminal. So the more I learned about what was going on, I was like, listen, I called a couple of my clients. I'm like, look, you got to get out of here. They're going to rip you off. But you know what? You might as well take what they'll give you before everything's at zero. So once I left, I was done. You know, I didn't want to even have anything to do with the stock market because I was just brokenhearted at what I just witnessed, the criminality of it all. You know, Wall Street's shady.
Right.
You know the history of Wall Street. It's not every.
So let me ask you something.
Yeah.
The movie Wolf of Wall Street, how accurate is it?
It was dead on. Yeah,
Right
we
there.
worked with the sister firm of that firm. So again, another shady thing that we would do once you beat up on your client and they just weren't ready to give you any more money, you would actually cross the book. So we would invite other firms to our firm. We'd get to know, hey, Mike, good to meet you. I'm Kenny. Yeah, your clients suck. My clients suck too. Here, take them all. And then he would give me his clients.
Oh my
I would
God.
call his clients, and then he would call mine and try to regenerate business from our old clients. So it was just the shadiest stuff in the world. And like I said, as soon as I realized what was going on, I'm out. So then I'm at a Pearl Jam concert, and I think it was one of the Lollapaloozas, and I see one of my fraternity brothers there. And I'm telling him my story, and he's laughing. He's like, well, I'm opening up my own firm. I'm like, you know, I like you and all, but I don't think I'm done with this. He's like, no, this is different. We're gonna be trading our own money. No more clients, no more anything. You think you know what you're doing? Now's your chance to show the world that you can do this on your own. Really? Cool. So first firm I went to is like, it was almost like open outcry. Without a license, you weren't allowed to hit the keys yourself. We actually had to yell the order to our, let's call it our pit or our specialist. So I'm yelling, you know, load to buy 1,000 Cisco 58 1/8. And she'd load up and I would execute. And then she would yell print. And then I would have it on my screen, 58 1/8. All right, sell to, you know, offer out 200 at 58 3/8. So we're yelling our orders at our clerk, right? And I'm sitting there going, why are we doing this? No one's here. Can't I press the button myself? And then about 6 months later, they made a new law where we could finally press buttons ourselves, and the casino was open. And, you know, luckily I had a knack for what I was doing. I did all right, and I made money. I was one of the only people that was making money right out of the gate. And then the degenerate gambler that I was, that took over. I started trading options just like a madman. Buying options, I didn't know what I was doing. You know, buying overpriced options, paying market orders on options, getting crushed on spreads, just getting annihilated, buying options, going into earnings reports, blew everything. I took a 20 grand account, turned it to 60 grand, which was unheard of. You know, even the owner was like, dude, you're like the only guy making money here. It's amazing. What are you doing? And so I was just trading the same strategy, gapping down and just buying the gap downs and then selling into the strength. But then the options got in the way and I just started gambling. So I blew all that money. I had to borrow money to get back in the game. And, you know, then I went on a nice run again. I stopped trading the options. And, you know, fast forward to where we are right now, all these experiences that I've had, you know, the shady stockbroker, the original, you know, day trading firms I was at, all the mistakes that I've made have brought me to this stage of the game where now I take everything I've learned. Some of the trades I was doing back in 98, 99 still work today. But as we're going to get into, you know, now I use a very specific indicator called volume weighted average price, Vwap. And it takes the trade that I know works, because I've been doing this since, you know, I've been basically trading since the 5th grade. But, you know, electronic trading, I was more or less I'm like the grandfather of the industry right now. It was born in front of me. I gave birth to electronic trading. Gross. But the idea was that, so everything that I learned, now, when I put VWAP on the charts and I'm saying, wow, this trade's probably going to work here, VWAP's getting me into a trade that already had been successful at a better price. So now, fast forward, you know, 20, 30 years later, this is all I do. So I sit there, I look for gaps, reversion gaps around volume weighted average price, and I'm telling you, I think I've actually dumbed down trading to the point where anybody could learn this.
Right. So you went straight from like completely complicated strategies that you were executing to the simplest method. So you found a strategy that you could do it without headache, and anybody can learn it.
Oh yeah, my charts used to look like art. I had so many things on the chart. You know what I was looking at? Bollinger Bands, stochastics, moving average. I had some clouds on there. Then I just started throwing things on the chart just so I could be cool.
I've spoken to many traders, and I think that's kind of that's the path a lot of traders go through. Like, I've spoke to a trader, he's like, listen, I had 20 charts. Each chart had about 8-9 indicators.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't even know what I was looking at.
Right.
It just looked cool.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, from a beginner's perspective, that cool looking sort of setup doesn't really help with trading.
No.
Right? It's just gonna cloud your judgment and make you make those mistakes where you took an account that you 3x from 20 to 60 back to nothing.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So for a beginner trader, where is the best way? And you went through a crazy path. I'm talking from literally the beginning of like doing everything manual into the digital world. But from a perspective from somebody that's starting right now, what is the best path to building their strategies and potentially getting, a strategy like yours and mastering it and being able to be consistent, profitable traders?
When you hear the word KISS, keep it simple, stupid, right. It really is the best way to go in trading. Right now, if you look at my chart, you'd be dumbfounded how much there's not on my chart. It's basically candlesticks and key levels, I call them pivot points, and Vwap. So you have only one or two things to watch, and all you care about is price. So when you dumb it down to the point where I've dumbed it down to, a stock can only do four things. It could gap down and keep going down. It could gap down and go back up. It could gap up and keep going up, or gap up or sell off. That's it. Mm-hmm. That's all you need to make money trading. So with VWAP, when you have that gap, volume weighted average price is an institutional tool. So you know when that gap is going to be sold into. So if it's gapped up, you know when it's going to go down to short it. And when they're gapped down already to start the day, VWAP's giving you a heads up when the institutional money is coming in to cover that short and to possibly dollar cost average on a stock that's just gapped down.
Because that's what makes the candle move.
Right.
The institutions.
Right, exactly. So volume weighted average price, you could think of VWAP for short. It's VWAP for short. VWAP is your heads up into what Goldman Sachs, the manipulating bastards that they are, what they're doing.
Right.
So when you see Goldman Sachs upgrade a stock and you see it breaking VWAP, you know for a fact Goldman Sachs is bullshitting you, which is really one of the best trades. If you'll start noticing, and please, if you're out there, watch upgrades and downgrades, and you'll see how the stock reacts that day. Upgrades and downgrades are the most subtle, easiest way for these firms to manipulate us. They upgrade the stock. Oh, this guy went to school for this. He must know what he's talking about. He says to buy. I got to get in. No, he's already in. So we play the fade of the earning of the analyst. So when they're upgrading it, we immediately think, man, they're trying to scam us. It's probably going to go down today. And it does. But when it doesn't, VWAP's telling you, no, this time he seems to know what he's talking about. That's what's so good about VWAP. It solidifies and it basically validates the idea. So I could come in and hate on, again, I'm not a fan of this industry because of what I've witnessed for 30 years. But I'm a fan of VWAP because there's no lying in it. You can't lie. It's price. So when a stock is breaking above it, you know real money is coming in. Just join in. You're piggybacking the institutions for the first time. Without VWAP, you don't know where they are.
Right, so it balances. So the VWAP, really, I mean, I've heard about the VWAP when I started trading, and I never really knew the importance of it because, as you said, it cancels all the noise that's out there. And back in the day, and I bet this is every single beginner trader's mistake, where it's like, to them, price action is candle movements. It's not, it's like, oh, I just saw 2 green candles, I gotta go in right now.
Right.
And that's really, and I'm talking this, even though a lot of people are gonna say, no, that's not true, I don't just look at the candle. You're kind of looking at it. You're building, you're like, okay, 2 candles, this is causing a breakout, this is my entry, and the stop loss is probably way off. So when it comes to the VWAP, it simplifies it so much. As you can see, I was just showing you Apple on my trading view, and It just had the VWAP, the volume, and an RSI. That's it. I like to use the RSI as well. But it definitely canceled loans. I couldn't agree more with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and the question is like, from a perspective of the beginner trader, how long do you think it's going to take them to kind of get the feel and being able to like understand the movement of the VWAP, being able to like, oh, now I see a lot of noise, I got to cancel this, or like you said, when there's an upgrade on a stock, you know, that's kind of BS, right? So how long do you think a person needs to sit in front of a chart, keep on watching the VWAP, keep on understanding the movements? Like, how long does it take for that person to just like grasp what you're talking about?
Yeah, so, I mean, there's a learning curve for every trader, right? So this actually lessens the learning curve. Everyone's going to go through the lumps. You know, again, you have to learn software. You got to learn again, for someone who's never traded before, everyone's a buy and holder. I can buy a stock and I hope it goes up. Everybody knows how to do that. When it comes to trading, there's a lot more. You got to learn the software. But how about if I told you it was 3 months? What if I said, if you give me a quarter of the year, 3 months, and you sit there staring at charts with me, you'll become a master, and you'll be 10 times better than you ever thought you would be able to be, because this is the way to trade. And I've been doing this for 30 years, Mo. I've never seen something that, again, you're not allowed to use the word easy in trading because it's never easy. The fear of trading always gets in the way. Anxiety, frustration, you know, your ego, you don't want to take losses. VWAP wipes that all away, because VWAP, it's like having a drill sergeant behind you and you're about to not take. So if you're in a bad trade, and we all have that same notion. Well, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Right? You never want to take the loss.
That always happens.
VWAP's like, idiot, get out. You're going to lose all your money. You better sell or you're going to die. And if you're ignoring that, you deserve to lose all your money.
Exactly.
That's what VWAP has done for me, because I'm an ignorant schmuck just like everybody else. So I'm in plenty of losing trades. But the winning trader takes the small loss, milks the good trade, and compensates for 3 small losses with 1 good trade.
Absolutely.
You know, I could go 1 for 8 and still come out ahead on the day. Most traders can go 7 for 8, but that 1 bad trade wipes out the whole day.
Absolutely.
VWAP will prevent that from happening, but you have to listen. You can't ignore the VWAP. So like I said, think of VWAP as an institutional gauge of the health of your stock. And if it's breaking the VWAP to the downside, it's telling you your stock is going to get worse from here. Do something about it. And if you choose not to do it, you've chose poorly.
Right, of course. All right, so we covered the sort of the strategy when it comes to the VWAP. Now I want to kind of go over into the risk management aspect, as we know that there's an entry. You have to make an entry and an exit. One of the previous mistakes I was making as a trader is that I would enter a trade. Let's say I'm short Apple at 170 and my target is 169, and the target hits. But I didn't have a proper exit strategy when I'm like, I get greedy and there's a little bit of like, oh, the market is gonna go further to my favor. Let's wait for it to go to 168.50, and then it ends up just reversing towards me. So after all these years, like I realized that, you know, having an exit strategy is actually part of the overall strategy. And so, like, let's kind of go over how do you go about exiting the trade, because most of the traders, I believe that they kind of disregard that and they don't really pay attention to that stuff, and they end up either having very little profit,
right,
break even, or turn a positive trade into negative.
Yeah,
you know.
Mo, the entry's easy. Everybody can buy.
Everybody can buy.
Everybody can buy. Everybody can short stock. It's the exit's the most important part. Yeah. So if you're getting into a trade without thinking about where you're getting out, and again, if you're thinking about, you got to be thinking about 2 things. Where am I getting out if it doesn't work? All right. You got to have your exit plan for the loss, and then you got to see where your targets are. So for the profits. And here's a helpful tip for every beginning trader: always be taking profits. So always look to take a profit, even if it's a small profit. So if you're, again, just for an example, 2,000 shares of Palantir today at $8.90, even at $9, only up a dime, I'm selling some of those 2,000 shares just so I can. just to get a feel for the trade. So I'll throw 200 shares on the offer. I get gobbled up at 9. I know there's buyers out there. I know there's momentum there. And I'm selling into the move. So even if I have 2,000 shares of a $9 stock and I sell 200 shares for 20 cents, it's $40. But it's $40 I have in my hand now. And now my stop becomes break even. So if I have to sell the other 1,800 at flat, I've made $40 on the trade. So you're always taking profits. And again, so go back to VWAP. If the VWAP's trailing along with you, that's your new stop. So we haven't touched upon the multiple time frame VWAP. But again, with every trade, you can go back to the old school way of trading. You mentioned Apple, 170, and then you said 169.50, 169, 168.50. Those prices, while it's on its way to 168.50, you should be taking money off the table, 50-cent increments on $169 stock.
And now predicting how low it's going to go.
Right. You never actually have to, again, everyone's like, so where do you think this thing's going? Doesn't matter. It's how you trade it. Right? It doesn't matter where it's going. So when I buy a stock at $8, where do you think it's going? 1,000.
Yeah, I get that all the time.
Now what are you going to do? He's like, but I still would sell some at $8.50. But you said it was going to 1,000. I know, but I would still sell some here at $8.50. Yeah. And if it's at $9, guess what? You should sell some there too. But you just said it was going to 1,000. I'm exaggerating. But
right.
that's the idea. You never know. Any stock can go to 1,000, and any stock can go to 0. But when you're in the trade, always be taking profits, and then you manage your trade. So if you're in it and when you get into it, it's usually all in. The exit is basically you're always scattering it. And the best part about that strategy is that even when you lose money, you don't dump the whole position, because how many times does you get out, then the move that you bought it for happens without you, and you don't want to buy it back because you just got out and you're all frustrated, and then it goes up without you. You're like, oh man, I was just in it.
Could have been a fake out.
Right.
Yeah,
so let's say you buy it, it dips, you sell some because it broke down, but down there has to be other levels. And again, when you start using VWAP, each chart is independent from the last chart. When you start looking at VWAP and multiple time frame VWAPs, a lot of time those price targets are on your screen already. So the stocks, the algorithm prints are right there. You just got to follow along. So, there are certain times if you're in like this again, $20 stock, you could go down to 1975 and you sell 300 for a small loss, but then it starts to rip and you still got the other 700 and you start making money on the trade. Always be selling in increments, even when you're making money, even when you're losing money. It's the best way to stay in the trades.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about selecting a watch list. When it comes, walk us through what time you start doing that in the morning. What type of stock selection do you look for, or different criteria that you look for a stock to choose? Because a lot of time, again, the scanners are always blasting different type of stocks with different, movements, 100% here, 50% here. So how do you narrow down the list to the stocks that you want to trade for the day? Or you go as 10 o'clock, you check the list, and 12 o'clock, multiple times. Or you just build it in the morning and...
Mo, I have everything planned out so far ahead. I'm so regimented that it's not even funny. I'm like a drill sergeant when it comes to trading. I know exactly what I'm trading tonight, because whoever reported earnings is going to be more active than most stocks. So if somebody reported earnings tonight, I don't know what day we were going to show this video, but whoever reported earnings tonight, if they have a lot of volume, I'm trading that stock tomorrow. And if you reported earnings that morning, so the watch list during earnings season is huge. So what we do is we whittle it down. If a stock reports earnings and you got 9 shares traded on it, I don't care. I need a stock that has volume. Take a look what Palantir did today. You had 93 million shares by 11 o'clock. There's where you want to be.
Yeah.
Because there's less chance of manipulation when you have a large amount of volume. That's why I don't trade small cap stocks. You can trade small cap stocks using VWAP. You just want there to be more volume. Stock's got 8,700 shares on it. The manipulator, the guy that's out there, the axe, the person that owns the most, he wants to dump 600,000 shares out of nowhere. That stock's going to plummet. You don't know where that's going to come from.
Or a big buyer can come in and just squeeze you if you're short.
Absolutely.
We can take an example. The stock TOP, was it last week or the week?
God, yeah.
That was a shit show.
Yeah.
I mean, that thing closed at what, $17, $16 after market. The next thing you know, it's at 80. Next thing you know, it's at 200.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
Yeah,
And
because there's no shares in the float, and it's just so easily manipulated. But I tell you, there was that one trade where it broke 108. That was the Vwap, and tanked 38 points in like 12 minutes. So I was like, oh, I like this stock. And again, if you could get the short off.
yeah, of course.
Yeah, so I mean, with any one of those names, those are the ones that people get hurt by because they chase them on their way up, and then they crash, they get halted, and you're done. No matter what strategy you're using, those stocks are dangerous.
Well, people are just looking for the jackpot trading those things, right?
Right.
Especially if somebody that has, like, let's say a small account, been building profits for the past 2 months, trying to be consistent, and then the next thing you know, they are at a kind of a big loss due to a stupid stock that they got on with maybe even very little shares. But because it squeezed them or, it went against them. I mean, if you bought this thing at 200, next thing you know, it's at $30, $40, bye-bye account.
Yeah, bye-bye you.
Right.
You're borrowing money from somebody to pay off your debt now.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You don't want to be in that situation.
No.
And again, that bag holder, everybody is a victim. I've been a victim so many times, and I've been a victim. I've been victimized by real stocks.
So was I.
You're never going to be a victim again. Think of it this way. VWAP, you are now in the place to be the manipulator instead of the manipulated. We're all manipulated by something. The media, the Goldman Sachs, the CNBC, the Fox, your dumb cousin who thinks he knows what he's talking about. You'll never be manipulated by any of that when you have VWAP on the chart. If Warren Buffett called me and said, Kenny, listen, I'm buying XYZ, I'm buying this company out 3 weeks from now, you should be buying it here. If it ain't breaking the VWAP, yeah, sorry, Warren, I'm not interested. I gotta go. Nice knowing you.
That's it. You have a specific thing you look for, and you just can constantly executing on it.
It's the most glorious validation tool you'll ever have. And again, if you guys are making money as a trader, put VWAP on your chart. It'll help you, no matter what you're doing. That's why it's so special. That's why I'm so passionate about it. After 30 years of trading, I never thought I would find something this exciting. It's been only 15 years. So I've only been doing it half my career. First 15 years, school of hard knocks, getting my ass kicked. I blew my account up trying to short the market in 2012 and 2013. Annihilated. I would go to work pretending I had a job. I never made it to the office. I tell my wife, "Oh, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you tonight." I'd go to the city and I'd wander around the streets. I was so broke.
Wow.
So busted up from what I tried doing, trying to short this market. In 08, 09, when the government took the market over, we rallied 09, 10, 11, 12. I'm like, all right, enough. Time for a sell-off. Time for a bear market to come back. And I just kept shorting stocks, and I was just getting annihilated.
So you did go against the market.
Oh, yeah.
And you never go against the trend.
I found VWAP in 2013, 2014, and I started looking at all the mistakes that I made. That was the first thing that really gelled with me. I was like, oh, if I only had this on my chart, I wouldn't have lost that money. Oh, I would have been out here. Oh, I would have been out there. I would have been out here. That's the first thing it did. It corrects your mistakes. And if you know, you guys know about trading, it's just, all you need is one thing that works. The list of things that don't work is endless.
Yeah.
So VWAP is telling you, here, this is what works, and it shows you that everything else is a far distant second. So if you just concentrate on what works the best, do that as long as you possibly can. And look, we all want to build portfolios. You want to all do swing trades. It's a great day trading tool. It's great for swing trading. It's great for everything. But really, once you take a swing trade and you're an investor, then you're in the hands of the market now. When you're trading between 8 o'clock in the morning and 8 o'clock at night, you're still in control because you could just punch out or buy more or sell out, and VWAP is showing you the light. So the best way to do this is day trading. I'm not going to bullshit you here.
Yeah.
The best way to use VWAP and the strategy that I have is intraday. But when you're, we haven't even talked about options.
Yeah.
This trade works so well that when you parlay this trade into an options trade, you're finding 100%, 200% gains daily. So when I start doing this, I'm like, why do I even own stocks?
When would you recommend somebody to start trading options? Like, at what level do you know that, okay, this trader is going to be ready for options soon?
Well, remember, the options is an extension of the stock.
Yep.
The reason people lose money is they keep buying out of the money options, hoping and praying for this monster win.
Yeah.
You don't trade options like that. You trade at the money weekly options, so you're trading the option in lieu of the stock. So if you're trading Palantir, again, I keep dating this video, but it's all right. If you're trading options on Palantir, you're buying the 9 weeklies. I'm not going out and buying 12.5s for next August. Who cares? Who knows? I don't know what the stock's going to do over the next 6 months. I don't care. I'm buying the $9 weekly calls. Stock's breaking 890. I want to trade the option that's trading just like the stock. So instead of laying out $9,000, now I'm only laying out $250.
Yep.
So 1,000 shares on Palantir would be 9,000. The options were only 30 cents, and 10 contracts, $300. You're still getting that same nice movement. So here on $9,000, you make 30 cents. The percentage gain is nothing. You buy an option for 30 cents, it goes up 30 cents. You just doubled your money in the same amount of time.
Instantly, yep.
So, I mean, so back to your question, when do you get into the options? Some people go right to the options because they don't have a lot of money. Learn what the stock is doing first, then parlay that knowledge into the options trade. And the simplest thing to remember, in the money, weeklies. Slightly out of the money, weeklies. If you're day trading options, you don't go months out, years out.
Yeah.
Why would you buy a leap on something? Why would you pay that extra premium when all you care about was what happens in the next hour or two? So we just go right to the source. And now, oh my God, Mo, with these daily options on the queues.
Yeah.
Oh God. I need a moment to myself.
Drink some water.
It's the greatest invention in the history of mankind. Because I trade the Qs religiously. That's my stock. That's my baby. I've been trading the Qs since inception. I'm that old.
Look, I know you for what, 6-7 years?
Yeah.
And you've been preaching about the Qs since really we met.
It's the only thing to own, yeah. Now they have daily options. It's like
it keeps getting better.
It's like you're in a casino every freaking minute. It's awesome. But when you trade VWAP around the QQQ, when you have a little bit of an unfair advantage, now you're buying these daily options. And especially if you get a turn into the close, you're buying 10-cent options on a $320 stock that can easily go up $1. That's 10 times your money in the last hour of the day. And we find them every day. We find them every week. And that's why, again, I don't have any money in the stock market. Okay? All my money is in real estate and silver. I love silver. Got any coins? I'll buy them from you.
And collections.
I love collections, baseball cards. I love memorabilia, all that kind of stuff. I have zero money in the stock market because I have no advantage.
Right.
I want an advantage, and my advantage is day trading, the VWAP. Sometimes a swing trade. I do other things, but again, anything I do extracurricular in the market comes with profits from the day trade. So if I want to sell puts on a stock that I like, I better have made money on that name over the last couple of days so I could put it in the name to hang in there.
That's good. So if a trader is looking to find, the VWAP or learn about it, what do you recommend?
Well, first thing is Google. It's always great. Second of all, you can always find me. My name's Kenny Glick. I have a website called Hit the Bid, and we're just a bunch of knuckleheads. We got about 250 traders. We just go and, we're hooting and hollering and screaming at each other all day. It's fun. I go live. I get on the air about 8 o'clock in the morning, and I start going over the watch list. And just like we're having this conversation, this is what I do every day. I go from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., and then generally the day's over. And when I say over, your day is done. I mean, you're doing 300, 400, 500 a day.
Yeah.
By 11 o'clock, why do you need to keep pushing? The keep pushing guy, that's the degenerate. And again, all the lessons I've learned, and I am a gambler. I love sports gambling, and I'm pretty good at it. I'm a Jets fan. If you guys are out there, Jets fan, just bet against the Jets. They never win. You win every year. But don't let the degenerate gambler, just because you're sitting at the desk doesn't mean you put a trade on. You got to have the setup. If the setup's not there, don't do a trade. You never have the fear of missing out when you trade VWAP because there's always another trade. Stocks revolve around the VWAP all day. And now you've got earnings, you got these crazy biotech stocks. And look, I know you're into crypto. It works with crypto too.
Yeah.
So it is just the most amazing tool to learn because then you could just extrapolate it and use it for everything. I hear it even works in Forex. I've personally never ever traded Forex, and I've actually never met anybody who's ever made money trading Forex. I'd like to meet somebody that's ever traded Forex and makes money. I still haven't met somebody. I heard a lot of people talking about it. I haven't met somebody yet that actually makes money trading it, but I heard it works on Forex too. It works on futures. When you put VWAP on your chart, a light bulb will literally go off. And if it doesn't, you better look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself if you really want to be doing this.
Yeah.
Because you'll see it. You'll see what I'm saying when you start to notice. And again, like I said, it would have saved all that money I lost in 2012 and 2013 if I was using it.
Yeah. There was a book that you recommended before to me. I definitely want to tell the audience about. What was that book?
20 Mistakes of Every Failed Trader, of 1,000 Failed Traders, that one?
Yes, that one, and there's the one about the VWAP.
Yes, Brian Shannon.
Brian Shannon,
Yeah,
yes.
Brian Shannon, if you're going to read books about the VWAP, and let me tell you something. I've been trading for 30 years. I've tried to read books about technical analysis.
Yeah.
Kill me. This is awful. And I know what I'm reading. I'm like, all right, I can't read this. Brian makes it understandable. He breaks it down in just the cleanest, easiest terminology. He's got 2 books. Brian Shannon, Google it, buy both of his books, come to my website. He stops by every once in a while and he'll sign it for you.
So, Kenny, hit thebit.com.
Yeah.
They can come to the site. What package do you have for any of this, if somebody wants to join your Maniac room?
Here's what I do, and this is what I'm proud of. This is my most proudest moment here in this industry. I do everything for free for at least 2 weeks. Because anybody that's worth anything, anybody that's on, we're having this conversation, anybody that says they know what they're doing, prove it.
Yeah.
I prove it. So I let anybody, I don't want your credit card, I don't even want to know who you are, just show up. Just show up and watch me and my 2 head traders go at it. And then read the room. You'll know within 2 weeks, we know what we're talking about. And then we do classes just like everything else, but mostly it's just a, kind of an amusement park of trading.
Yeah.
You pay one price and you hang out with us for a year.
That's it.
But everybody gets to test the ride. You get to ride every ride. You get to kick the tires, whatever you want to say. 2 weeks of just hanging with us. And again, you'll get a feel for what we're doing. Day trading's not for everybody, but you'll start to also notice that you can use this for swing trading and investing. So you come to the website or you just send us an email. We're like a mom and pop shop. Nothing's automated. It's just me. Yeah. A lot of times I answer the phone. I'm the one employee, but I finally have 2 people working for me. So, you send us an email, info@hitthebid.com. We have a guy, we all have funny nicknames. I'm the Warlock because I have a split personality. I'm a very angry guy when I trade, but that's what keeps me focused. I have the Minotaur. He's my right-hand man, guy with an axe. He's the gatekeeper. We got Solid. We got 8 Ball. Everybody's got a weird nickname.
That's good.
So you contact the Minotaur at hitthebid.com. You tell him you saw this video, and he'll give you a 2-week free trial. And if we're nice, sometimes we let people just hang out for a month just to get to know us.
Yeah.
Because I don't want anybody's money unless you're comfortable with what you're about to embark on. And you're embarking on a journey.
Yeah, the idea is to be profitable altogether. You know? So, yeah, so guys, hitthebid.com. You can either go to the site, talk to Kenny, or you can DM us at Modern Traders, and we'll be happy to answer any question in regards to Kenny Glick room or any of his teachings. I'm more than happy. I've been to one of his Thursday. You still do the Thursday talk?
Thursday nights, yeah.
Oh my god, the schmooze.
The schmooze.
I love the schmooze,
yeah.
man. That was a fun time. Everybody kind of have a good time. Talk about stocks. Talk about earnings if there is for the next week.
Yeah, that's how it got started. Yeah, we just started.
Yeah.
When weekly options started becoming really popular, we'd get together on Thursday nights and game plan for the Friday trades, and that's how it got started. And then I started inviting some guests. Brian was on the show talking about his book. I got some friends still in the industry. I'm very, very blunt. Some people don't like me. But you know what? I don't like them either. So the way that I've survived this industry is that I don't take shit. And again, I don't take shit in my trades. And again, I've realized one thing: I don't know as much as I thought I did, and that's what Vwap really shined the light on. I really thought I knew what I was doing, and I blew myself up hard. And it was done. I was done. The career was over 2013. Right. Vwap resurrected me, and now I will never, ever stray from the path.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you guys, we've heard it all. We're going to have you back soon. We're going to talk more options. We're going to break down more strategies. Yeah. We can share screens.
Definitely want to show you the charts when you see it up on the chart.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We're going to do some, hopefully we could do some lives together. So look out for some live on IG or YouTube with Kenny Glick. Can't wait to do that. Guys, I told you we're going to bring the best traders. I've learned so much so far, and I can't wait to have to see what's what we're gonna do with Kenny, and we're gonna bring some great content to everybody. We're gonna bring more guests, so definitely keep a lookout for Modern Traders content. Kenny, thank
man.
you very much for coming.
Appreciate
I
it.
hope to see you soon.
Yeah.
Guys, if you have any questions, we're going to publish this on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. Drop your questions. If you have any suggestions for the next episode that you want Kenny to go over, please drop a comment. We can't wait to go over that with you. Thank you, everybody, and I'll see you guys next time.